Eagle shit on me.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the podcast coming on strong.
Way to go, Tay.
We're broadcasting live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a beautiful studio here. No, it's just back in the Tanner's apartment again.
We're in
Appreciate
my
Tanner,
apartment.
for allowing us to be here again today.
Yes, sir. Of course.
And again, we have a lot to get to, and I don't want to make this similar to last week. We want to switch it up as much as possible here, as we're already having some difficulties, but we'll get everything sorted out.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'll take responsibility.
We have the whole off season to really prepare for what we expect to be a hopefully mediocre to decent to some say good Eagles team, and all of a sudden we're about 2 days away from football beginning, 5 days away from the Eagles starting, and we will get to the Philadelphia Eagles very shortly. But I do want to open the forum today with the three of us together and talk about the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as the Buccaneers will raise the trophy and raise the banner in Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football. And you have obviously Tom Brady again with all the Super Bowl rings, and we get that whole deal. But I think the bigger story here with regard to the Eagles is obviously the Cowboys. Zach Martin will miss the game due to COVID, and he tested positive, or was he in contact with somebody who tested positive?
I believe it was a positive test.
Okay, so he's going to miss the game on Thursday, and then you have Dak Prescott, who was the topic in all Dallas news outlets this past offseason again with his shoulder bothering him still, and obviously you have
I got a serious question, and this needs to be solved and discussed.
Is it about Dak Prescott?
No, it's about the Cowboys in general. Why do we continue giving a damn about the Cowboys? That has always befuddled me. What? No, we don't.
Division.
No, we don't. We don't give a damn.
This is worth it.
Okay, maybe you guys are not understanding my approach. Why do we have to give a damn about why does the Cowboys always topic of discussion nationally? Like, it's not just us that care about
nationally, because apparently they're America's team, which is up for debate. But we're talking about the Cowboys because they're a team that's always so close to the Eagles in the division.
I want me some glory hole.
And it's the Dallas Cowboys,
and it's also the first week. It's the first game of the new season, Tay. When we can, if you want to talk about the Buccaneers, we can too. You want to talk about Chris Godwin, Mike Evans?
We can get into Nick Foles too, T. If you want.
No, absolutely. We ain't getting into no damn Nick Foles. No, absolutely not.
Max, let's get back to these Cowboys. Yeah. You got Zach Martin out, and on the other side for defense for the Buccaneers, you got Ndamukong Suh over there. So the Cowboys are really going to struggle, especially Dak Prescott, a guy coming back for the first time in a while. Hasn't really been taking those reps needed to be the starting quarterback for a season opener. You have him really, none at all preseason play. And people are still unsure if he's healed and ready to go for the game. So that's going to be a challenge for Dak Prescott. And if it does not go well, what are they going to do at quarterback until Dak Prescott is ready to go? Because Andy Dalton is no longer on the Cowboys. Is Danucci still on the Cowboys?
No, he got cut.
He got cut. Who's their second string right now for the Cowboys?
I gotta look it up real quick.
It's got to be some scrub. Per usual, you know how the Cowboys just pick up any player ever available.
Cam Newton's still floating out there in the rumors.
Cam Newton is still floating out there. So
you know what? That's the person that I've heard that they're really paying attention to and that they're looking at.
I'd really hate that.
Cooper Rush is their second.
Cooper Rush. Can't forget about Cooper Rush. Good old Rush.
Also signed Will Greer recently off the Panthers.
West Virginia quarterback.
That's Tanner once said, put it very lovely. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm
Cooper
sorry.
Rush,
I'm
Greer.
sorry. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, this is a Cowboys team that, if everything clicks, is dangerous, especially for the Eagles team. And that's why we're bringing it up, because you got so many weapons on that offense. We're talking about Zeke, Dak, if he's on. You got Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup. I mean, the list goes on.
Like Jarwin.
Yeah, and let's not even. I mean, we're going to get into that defense too. That's going to be strong for the Cowboys.
More improved than last year as one of the worst defenses in the league.
We all know Parsons is now on the Cowboys, and I think he was the one talking trash to Tom Brady leading up to this game. So these players don't learn.
Andrew Adams also going right back from the Eagles when they was cut back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All I got to say is he must not want to win. You don't trash talk the GOAT. You're asking for it. Why do you give Tom Brady more ammunition? I've never understood that.
Right. Let's get into score predictions, guys. What do you think is going to happen for this game? I'll let you two go first, and then I'll give my final word. But Max, if all things considered, how do you think this game is going to go?
If I had to predict right now, my gut is telling me to take the Cowboys and think that they're going to win, but my brain is telling me to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know why. I think this is going to be one of those games where you have to obviously see how Dak Prescott plays, how he reacts, how he feels. I think one of the big things for me is, or prediction slash, like I said, gut feel that I have is that he's going to be healthy and he's going to be firing on all cylinders. I'm not a huge fan of the preseason. I used to be when I was a kid.
Yeah, you was a fan of the preseason?
I was big. I mean, it was like when I had Eagles season tickets, I was like, okay, I'm going to go check out the Eagles game. We go to 2 preseason games, and then obviously you have the regular season. So I was a fan of it.
Oh my
but
God.
Once you see all these guys getting injured, J.K. Dobbins gets hurt for the Ravens. It's like, wow, what's the point of having your starters out there for longer than a quarter or maybe even less? So I think Dak Prescott's going to come out and he's going to play well. I think the Cowboys are going to win the game. I think it's going to be close, but I think not that there's going to be a Super Bowl hangover because I still expect the Buccaneers to be great, but I think the Dallas Cowboys, for some reason, with all those weapons, I think Zeke's not going to be needed to carry the load as much this year. I think Tony Pollard, a guy most people don't even discuss, he can play out of the slot and he gets a pretty solid backup there to Zeke Elliott. So I'm not saying fantasy-wise he's going to have a good year, but I think football-wise he's going to be a big help to that offense, kind of like a Kenny Gainwell for the Eagles, where he could step into that secondary role, be a good pass catcher, and you're not going to have to hand the ball to Zeke about, 25 times a game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I actually do need Zeke to have a decent season because I drafted him in fantasy. But
as long as it's not against the Eagles, though,
what is
right?
wrong with
As long as it's not against the Eagles, too.
What is wrong with
And
you?
not against the Eagles, he's saying.
We're talking about money here, T. Fantasy football, unless it's against the Eagles, I need Zeke to have.
Without fantasy football, too, the NFL is going down the drain.
I understand that, but Tanner, that's dirty money, man. That's dirty money.
I'll tell you, money's already dirty, T. It's been in so many hands.
It was either Zeke Elliott or who else was on the table for you?
All right,
What,
listen.
Austin Eckler or somebody?
So you guys might disagree with me, but going to fantasy football before we go back to this Cowboys and Bucks matchup, I'm pick number 6 overall. So what I do is I draft a running back first, and I had
Smart
the
strategy.
opportunity. Now people are gonna hate me, and
Oh, boy.
and I kind of hated myself after this decision.
I hate you already.
But I picked up Zeke while Adams was still on the board. Devontae Adams.
Let me say this thing real quick before I let you guys continue. I was picking my closer friend league likes to just take best player available. So you can see Devontae Adams going to first round. You see Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce going to first round. But with the old head league that I'm in, my dad and a bunch of his buddies, the old head league, I call it.
Old head league.
No, the old head league, I call it the old head league because it's made a bunch of 50, 60, 70-year-old guys.
You are so
Um,
disrespectful.
I had 8 running backs went, and then it was like Najee Harris. Saquon actually was already taken. It was Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb doesn't catch any passes because Kareem Hunt's there. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm either taking Devontae Adams or I'm taking Travis Kelce. I took Travis Kelce just because I wanted to secure that tight end position. But when it came back to me, it was either, again, Nick Chubb was still on the board. I think Joe Mixon, maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire was still there as well. And I took Stephon Diggs because I think Stephon Diggs is going to put up more numbers. Long story short, I'm doing a Temple Field hockey game, texting in all my picks as it's just going on. I ended up driving home and got there for like the second half of the draft. But the meat and potatoes of the draft, those first couple picks, I didn't realize the only running back I had was Chris Carson until like the 10th round. So basically my RB2 ended up being Devin Singletary. And my team just basically gone to hell. But
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got Harris, Najee Harris, and Zeke Elliott, and then I just completely forgot about wide receivers until about the fourth round.
Or at that point, you're looking at who, like Adam Thielen, guys like that.
Yeah, I took a flyer on Jacoby Myers. I'm hoping he has a good season.
All right.
But
listen, hey, Mac Jones is there. Hopefully, they'll be able to throw the ball down the field more than Cam Newton.
I hate to do this to the both of you, but
You big dummy.
like really, y'all.
all right, T, did you draft for fantasy this year?
I'm not getting into a draft this year. I have way too many things.
You
on
know
my
what?
plate.
I understand.
He's
that
older and
because,
mature, and
you
got
want to be
responsibilities.
relaxing.
You know what I'm
during
going
a
to do?
game day, even though you work for WIP. You're not relaxing ever.
No,
But
but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get involved in betting. That's where the money.
Sports betting. I like
Sports,
it.
but that's where the
And
money.
you
tell
are
the
over the age
listeners?
of 21, so
There you go.
Is WIP is coming into their own with more sports betting, getting more involved with that, going to have live shows at casinos and stuff like that. How about you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they're doing a BetQL program, which those guys they talk about the more famous, the more popular bets and the more smarter bets that people can take. And we're growing our relationship with them. Of course, DraftKings is also a part of us as well. So it's a couple of affiliations that we are affiliated with. Hey, listen to WIP, be able to get you some discounts on some of those deals.
It's really taken the sports world by storm, right? Because once everything legalized betting became a big thing, you have obviously the sponsorships. You hear it a lot going to commercial break, coming back from commercial break. A lot of this stuff revolves around sports betting, all the different kinds of casinos that are around our area. And it's become, with the sports networks and stations in the city, they're really trying to give a lot of their money and put a lot of their effort and resources into the sports betting world. I feel like more recently,
it's a booming thing, especially since it became legalized, like you said before. So, I listen. I'm going to participate in it. I've predicted some games in the past, and I've been right about them. And I feel like I should take my chances and make a couple dollars out of it. Might as well.
I mean, listen, hopefully they get a couple jobs open by the time me and Tanner Tanner and I get out of college.
Yeah, and since we're talking about gambling, we really got to push. If you have a gambling problem, you have to call 1-800-GAMBLER. I feel like that's our responsibility now since we're bringing up gambling. Once again, that's 1-800.
Make sure we don't get sued.
522
That is blasphemous.
4700. If you got a problem, go fix it.
Well, I'll tell you what, who might have a problem this weekend, and that might be the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts behind that offensive line. And listen, it's one of those things where people are hyped. People are excited about the offensive line. Not a ton of work in the preseason. Get them healthy. But at the end of the day, I really value that, that obviously health is a big thing.
Health is a huge factor.
So that's kind of where it's not the game reps. It's more, are they healthy? And that's kind of where my concern lies. Now, Jalen Hurts, luckily he's a mobile quarterback. The Falcons defense isn't, that great. They aren't that scary. They aren't that devastating in terms of creating turnovers, short field positioning and things like that. So I'm hoping that the Eagles could pull out a W. I know we'll get into score predictions later on in the show, of course. But for me, we got to talk about the Falcons too. I know we got to give the audience some depth about the Falcons.
Finish up on the Cowboys and the Bucks. I know this is your favorite team to talk about, but just going over the prediction, just to wrap it up, I think the Cowboys are really going to be discovering themselves more in this game. It's kind of another preseason in a way for the Cowboys, and I'm just talking about the offense, because if Dak Prescott is looking like not ready to play right now in game time, whatever quarterback they put in is basically going to be learning this offense as they go along. So I think it's going to be a hard day for the Cowboys against this Bucks team who has their entire starting roster returning, I believe.
I'm the only one here that thinks the Cowboys are winning this game.
Yeah, you might be the only one.
So I think it's going to be 28-13 Bucks.
Wow, you think the Cowboys offense is only going to be able to put up 13 against that Bucks defense?
I just feel like that defense is experienced. First off, that defense was explosive, and on top of that, you don't go into the Super Bowl and shut down Mahomes, regardless of how many injuries Mahomes had, regardless of how hurt he was. Mahomes is still a quarterback that you respect. Is still a quarterback that is very hard to stop. That is not easy to do what they did in the Super Bowl.
Listen,
what do you think they're going to do to a Dak Prescott who's coming off an ankle surgery and shoulder surgery?
Everything's pointing. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? I got them high scoring. You know what? I got the Cowboys scoring a little bit more, but my prediction is I'm going to go with 30-20.
Okay.
30-20. Okay. I see. Now, my thing is with Dak Prescott, I know everything's going to really rely on his play, and everything's kind of pointing in the wrong direction. If you think the Cowboys are going to win this game, I understand that. You have Dak Prescott hasn't played in the preseason, coming off a major injury, not only to his ankle, which he completely destroyed, but his shoulder now, which is the bigger story, it seems like in recent weeks. So, and you're also talking about top 5 defense in the league in Tampa Bay, maybe even a top 3. Some people could argue even number 1 in the league. So everything kind of points Tampa Bay's way. They're going to be hyped. They're raising the banner. They're at home, season opener. Everything's tough for the Cowboys. I'm just basing off this of a gut feel. I don't know why I'm feeling it. I think Dak Prescott's going to come out, show everybody how healthy he really is, be mobile, be that same guy that we saw put up ridiculous stats in those first 3-4 games last year. I really don't think he's going to hopefully not have any setbacks, and I don't expect him to. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to be ready to go. I'm going to sit here right now, and if I had to pick a score, I think it's going to be high scoring. When I say that, I don't mean in the 40s, but it should get into the 30s. I'll say the Cowboys I'll say the Cowboys score 31 points. I'll say the Bucks score 28. I'll say 31-28 Cowboys.
I can't get comfortable with the fact of Tom Brady only scoring 28 points in that
That's
offense.
4 touchdowns, too.
You think the Cowboys are going to get in the 30s?
4 touchdowns.
It-
I like the Cowboys offense. I like their explosiveness. I think Gallup as a wide receiver number 3 is a little ridiculous because I think he truly hasn't unlocked his ceiling yet, his official upside. Because you have Amari Cooper banged up last year, you have Dak Prescott. It's a wash for the Cowboys last year when Dak gets hurt.
Zeke had an off year.
But Zeke having an off year too. They really boxed him in once Dak went down. As far as stacking the box on defense, and I think Gallup is one of those players where if he was on a different team, when you don't have CeeDee Lamb in front of you, who they invested that high pick in, and you don't have Amari Cooper in front of you, he could really be a legitimate number 2 wide receiver in this league. And I'm off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of guys that can really compare him to. Maybe Tyler Boyd before they brought in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd was one of those very solid, not over the top superstars, but very solid like wide receiver too.
Honestly, to be honest with you, CeeDee Lamb really has all the potential to really be a number 1 receiver. The reason why he's only slated to be a number 2 receiver in this offense is because of Amari Cooper. But the minute Amari Cooper goes down, you still have a number 1. It's not many teams that can arguably say that they have 2 number 1 wide receivers on their roster. I think the Cowboys, and I hate to say this, God, I'm throwing up in my mouth just thinking about it. The Cowboys are in an excellent position in terms of wide receiver. They really are.
Who are you taking? AJ Brown and Julio or CD and Amari Cooper?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Only because I don't know what I'm going to get from Amari Cooper from year to year. I got to go with AJ Brown and Julio Jones.
Yep.
I like to hear that too because I did get one wide receiver that's decent on my team, and that is AJ Brown. But I think out of the duo with Julio Jones on the downside, I guess you could say, of his career, even though he puts up great stats,
Still do.
I think Cooper and CeeDee Lamb would be a duo that I would pick rather than AJ Brown and Julio.
Especially CD has all that upside and relatively younger Julio, a little bit more banged up lately. And even AJ Brown has some injury risk history. I know he's been banged up with his knee in the past couple of seasons. And I want to flip the script now and talk about this Falcons team. I know we touched on the Eagles. So you have Matt Ryan coming in again, like his 1,000th year in the league for the Falcons. No, obviously not legitimate, but Julio Jones is gone. You know, Calvin Ridley, probably the best receiver on the field. Obviously, we know Devontae Smith with a lot of upside, but Calvin Ridley, the most established wide receiver on the football field. He's going to be a problem for the Eagles secondary. You have the backfield there with Mike Davis and then Wayne Gallman, who just signed last week. So he might not be up to speed on the playbook by week 1, but I think he's a serviceable running back. He was with the San Francisco 49ers in training camp. He got cut in favor of guys like JaMychal Hasty. I think who else was on? Raheem Mostert, obviously. Trey Sermon, who they drafted in the 3rd round out there in San Francisco. So he's going to come in behind Mike Davis, who I truly don't believe was a 3-down workhorse regardless. He stepped in for CMC last year when CMC got hurt in Carolina, and then he was well. He did well. He provided some solid numbers. So their running game is mediocre, I would say, on paper. And the Eagles should be they're Eagles people. And when I say people, I mean you listen to radio networks, you read articles.
Right.
They're saying that Eagles defense might be more. I should say they have a higher floor than the Eagles offense this year.
Well, the thing of it is that everybody's more relying on the defense to carry this team because the defense has more experience on their side of it.
A lot of praise for the defensive coordinator too.
Exactly. And Jonathan Gannon is a young up and coming defensive coordinator. They really, around NFL circles, they really believe that he's the next big thing in terms of defense. But also not only that, but the chemistry that those guys have on defense, no matter what. Remember, they've been through most of their years with Jim Schwartz, but that core is still there. Fletcher Cox still there. Brandon Graham is still there. Darius Slay. 2 years now. This is going into his 2nd year with the Philadelphia Eagles. The core guy in Rodney McLeod trying to come back. Those core guys are still there. So that's the reason why, the experts are saying that the Eagles defense is going to carry this team. Now, I don't think we should overlook the offense. I think it's going to take a minute for the offense to get themselves together, to get their feet up under them, but I don't think they should be overlooked. But this is where the running game comes into play. This is where Miles Sanders comes into play. This is where Boston Scott comes into play. This is where Kenny Gainwell comes into play. Those 3 guys are going to be the guys that carry this offense. Because I still think in terms of chemistry, in terms of getting themselves together, Jalen Hurts might be hit and miss with some of these receivers. It might take a minute for them to get their things together in terms of passing yards.
Will Devontae Smith score a touchdown this weekend?
I think so.
No, Jalen Reagor will.
Really? You got Rager scoring a touchdown?
I mean, of course, I would love to see Smith get a touchdown. Don't get me wrong, but I think what I saw in the preseason game against the Patriots, I think they already had him figured out right when he got in there. But it's hard to say because I didn't get to see the connection between Hurts and Smith in there.
This is true.
But if I'm betting money on it, I would go with the safer bet as he would not get a touchdown in this game. I think Hurts is gonna. I think he's gonna get one on the ground.
Okay.
But
That's a
I
good
think-
prediction. It hurts on the
He's
ground.
definitely going to be
Yeah.
throwing it around a lot more. in
He's
this opener.
he's not gonna have it. Well, he's not gonna have that